What a view. Not a bad location for a bike ride, up in the quarries above Llanberis, and see down to Llyn Padarn down there. So while I'm up here waiting for my friend to sort out a puncture, I thought I'd discuss with you the reliability, or my experience of the reliability of the Shimano motor. So at the E-Bike Adventures fleet, we've got a bunch of E7000 and E8000 units, all running the 500 watt-hour battery, just like we've got here. This is my personal bike, the Vitus E-Summit VRX, and on this one we've got an E8000. So this is actually, sit down next to the bike. This is actually my second unit. The first one I had to send back to Madison because I was getting a load of error codes. So within 2 days of me sending the motor off to them, they got in touch and said, look, we're looking into it. We've run it through a diagnostic and yet we can see there's a load of problems. They basically said, right, we'll give you a new one. I had to wait a little while because of stock issues, but other than that, it was absolutely faultless. Now, what else? We've had a few issues with our other fleet bikes. One E7000, two E7000 motors have had to go back. And it actually turned out it wasn't the motors at all that were the problem. Initially, the first one, it was actually a display unit that got water ingress. I'll talk to you more about water ingress in a bit. And the other one was a switch unit, the up switch. I think it either got damaged from flipping the bike upside down, or that was also water ingress. But in both cases, once again, Madison were faultless. They basically said, send us your broken item and we'll have a look at it and sort it out. And in both cases they just sent me new switch, new display. So there is an issue when it comes to water ingress, and that's probably the biggest Achilles heel with the e-bike, and that goes with nearly every brand. I think it's especially prevalent in the specialized bros units. I think Bosch also suffers from water ingress, and especially with this. One thing that I don't like is this cover here, which is held on by three small screws, small Phillips screws. That's actually not got much in the way of weather sealing, almost no weather sealing at all, in fact. So if you go out on a really wet ride, water can get into here quite easily or up from underneath. And this is where the main harness cable comes through from the battery, and also where the sensor cable runs through and down and into the unit as well. Oh, and the display cable up here also comes down through the frame and attaches in this part here. It's quite possible that you'll have a problem on your bike and it could end up being quite intermittent because you got water going in, you then get the error codes pop up, and you come back to your bike the next day and it's fine. So that's pretty annoying. I'll hopefully be finding out more about the EP8 unit in coming weeks when I get a few new bikes in, and that'll be interesting to see. So more along the lines of water ingress, what I'd recommend with almost all e-bikes is you keep cleaning to a minimum, which is probably good news for many of you that can't be bothered to clean your bikes. Pay careful attention to the drivetrain. That does need to stay clean. The e-bikes have significantly more wear when it comes to drivetrains. However, when it comes to the motors, basically this area of the bike and the handlebars, be careful around the display unit and the switch gear. No pressure washers. 100% don't use a pressure washer on one of these. What I do is I fill a bucket with warm water and I use a brush or a sponge and use it to get into all the nooks and crannies, and that tends to be the best way of making sure that your electricals don't get too damp. So in terms of troubleshooting, if you do already own a Shimano bike and you've got those dreaded error codes come up, here's what I've experienced and how I've got around it. So the main one that most people will experience probably the day that you get your bike is the W013. So W013 basically is the cadence sensor, I think, and that is triggered when you switch the bike on with your foot on the pedal. That's easily remedied. You switch the bike off, switch it back on again, like all good computer problems. However, W013 does come about on occasion and it's completely random. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's anything to do with your foot on the pedal. There may be an issue with your sensor, or there might be water ingress, good old friend water. which might have got into the bottom bracket or into the unit, and that's what's causing that error code. So it doesn't always mean your foot's on the pedal. Now the other error code that I've been experiencing is E010, and that is a random one. Unfortunately, one of my biggest issues with the Shimano unit is you don't get very accurate information when it comes to errors. E010 can be caused by so many problems that it's not even worth trying to fix yourself. My phone's ringing again. Anyway, Dan's managed to fix his puncture, so it's time for me to go for a ride. But the gist of it is you need to send your motor or whatever's wrong back to Madison. So there's the fix. One way of starting a bike ride. Jesus Christ. Okay, fair enough. Flip in.